You're watching a video by Tick. Who the hell do you think he is?
Okay, the Xbox One conference has literally just ended. At least at the time I'm doing this recording. And I was busy playing League of Legends, so I ended up missing the first part of the conference. But I talked to a couple of my friends who caught me up on it, and then I watched the rest of it. Basically, what they showcased was Metal Gear Solid 5. I was not told anything about that stuff, so I can't say anything. The first thing that showed up, though, that they told me about was World of Tanks Xbox Edition. Now, people who know, people who are PC gamers have seen that World of Tanks has been for years, at least I think it's years now, a free-to-play PC game. Now, the thing is with this is the fact that, as I said, World of Tanks is free to play. Now, I know what you're all going to say. It will be free on the Xbox One. Well, no, it won't be free on the Xbox One because you require a Xbox Live Gold membership to have. So basically, you'll be spending around, I don't know, like £4 to £5 a month to play World of Tanks if you get it on the Xbox. And I'm just thinking, why would you... I mean, I've played World of Tanks using an Xbox 360 controller. I prefer to move about using the Xbox controller, but I prefer to aim using the mouse. So basically, I do the best of both worlds. I hook up my Xbox controller, use Xpadder to make it so that I can move, and then use the mouse to aim. But the thing is, though, is that World of Tanks, the way you play World of Tanks, it's not like in Battlefield 3 where you go point blank range to another tank and duke it out. No, a lot of the fighting takes part on the long distance. The only time you do is when you've got a speedy tank, and if that's the case, precision is literally everything. So I don't see this doing that well on, the Xbox One. And as I said, it's technically not free to play. I know that with World of Tanks, it technically did have a paying aspect, but they've recently scrapped that. I have a feeling that they did that because of the deal they got with the Xbox One. But I digress. Nothing really to say about that, other than I think that World of Tanks is going to be more popular on the PC because it is truly free. The next one that showed up was Rise, and this one interested me. This is where I started watching the conference. Apparently there was a flying temple in space. I don't know, but I hope to God there isn't. Now, Rise is interesting for me because it is one of the very few games that are based in Roman times, and I like how they have things accurate. Like, you can tell your troops to go in testudo or to throw their pila. My main two gripes with it is, one, they were advertising, oh, it looks so much better than it would have looked on the 360. I don't see any difference, because maybe it's just because I've developed games myself now, and I know the tricks that game developers use, but it's just the lighting that makes it look good. If you get rid of the lighting, it'll probably look as good as a 360 game. Secondly, I hate how much it's emphasizing on QuickTime events. Every single time they were fighting an enemy, there was a QuickTime event, and I'm just like, why? Okay? I get it, QuickTime events can be good in some aspects, but just no. Lessen the QuickTime events. This is meant to be a video game, not an interactive movie. We're not playing Dragon's Quest. But outside of that, I'm interested to see on where it goes, but I will not be getting it. Next, they advertised Killer Instinct. Now, one thing, I'm glad they're bringing it back, because apparently a lot of people really wanted Killer Instinct, but I don't care about fighters. The only fighters I really enjoyed was the the Toho fighters, and they're not, they're more bullet hell than fighters. So, got nothing to say about Killer Instinct. Kind of surprised that they're using the Super Street Fighter 4 style of art, but hey, whatever floats their boat. Next, they showed Sunset Overdrive. All I'm going to say is, oh my god, they have colour. Do you have any idea how happy I am that they have got colour? I mean, I am a firm hater of current graphical directions currently, because it's all brown and blue. To see this game, the trailer at the very least, have colour, oh my god, I am so happy at that. However, it just looks like Mirror's Edge combined with Dead Rising in a more over-the-top cartoony thing. I do have high hopes for the game, but once again, it doesn't really interest me because it's just another zombie game. And, okay, I'll make a small detour here. I am personally fed up of first-person shooters in the modern saying, first-person shooters in the World War II saying, I'm starting to get tired of first-person shooters in the sci-fi saying, I am sick of zombie games. Because they are never really done in a creative sense. The only zombie games I know that were done in a creative sense were Left 4 Dead and Dead Rising. And even then, Left 4 Dead was pushing it. Like, it was borderline generic. Anyway, moving on. Next they showed Forza 5. Okay, let's get one thing completely clear here. I'm not a big fan of racing games. I do like to play my occasional racer, but I'm more of a fan of like the kiddie ones, like the Mario Kart ones and such. So this might just be me, but first most they showcased a car. They put a car onto the stage. I mean, okay, I get it. You're trying to hammer your point in that Forza 5 is a racing game, but I don't fucking care. I'm watching a gaming conference. I want to see what games you want to show. I don't care if you get a car that there's only 2 in the world. I mean, sure, that's impressive, but I don't care. Now, here's one funny thing that was funny. They mentioned how the game isn't about the poly count or the text resolution. It's about the detail. Now, hang on a minute here. Hang on. If you're caring about the detail, that also includes poly count and text resolution, okay? You can't have detail without poly count and resolution, okay? Otherwise, you could just say, it's about the detail and show us something from a PlayStation era game. That is no. Just no. Also, I will admit that it did look impressive. However, on some of the angles, it looked so fake. It looked seriously early era Xbox One fake. It stuck out like a sore thumb. Now, they mentioned about the new AI in the showcase. Now, first, before I go on to the AI, they talked about the motion, how the game looked. It's just the lighting and motion blur. Anything can look spectacular if you just put a ton of motion blur and make good lighting. That's all you need to do. It looked no different from Forza 4. From what, on the occasions when the lighting and motion thing failed, and you know what, Forza 4 looked like Forza 3 without the so and so on and so forth. Now, they mentioned about the AI controlling you. Now, initially I said, okay, who cares? Why would I care about an AI knowing how I drive and doing that? And then they said, it'll drive for you when you're at education or work. Well, why? Why would I get a game to have the game play for me? I got a game to play the game. I didn't get a game so that the AI can drive for me. Now, there's a lot of exploit things though, because I mean, think about it. It's going by how you drive. In one lap, somebody could figure out how you drive and exploit that. Also, it's making it seem smarter than it is. There are millions, probably, ways of turning a corner. There are thousands of variables. There is no way the AI is advanced enough to do that. Because, I mean, like, hell, not even NASA AIs are that smart. They're getting close, but they're not smart enough. If that's the case, how come they say this AI is so complex it has been used in NASA spaceships? Because, you know, they only have the best of the best in that kind of stuff. Now, they also talked a little about indie devs and how they're committed with the Xbox One. Yet they won't let indie devs independently publish their games. That's the second hypocritical statement in that conference. The first one being the whole we don't care about poly count or text resolution, it's about the detail. Now this one, we care about indie devs, we want to commit more with the Xbox One, yet they're not independently or whatever. And then they advertised Minecraft on the Xbox One. So, it's just Minecraft, and they made it look a lot bigger than it should have been, because they're just porting it over from the Xbox 360. They're not going to add extra stuff, because I'm almost certain memory serves that the agreement with Notch is that the stuff that Notch puts in first is then added on. I don't think they can add their own independent stuff, and even then, it's, you know. Then they showcased Quantum Break. It has an interesting premise, I guess, but outside of that, nothing. I got nothing to say whatsoever. So, yeah. Then they showcased D4. Now, here's the two interesting things about D4. One, it's Borderlands style graphics. And I'm personally fine with that graphic style, but you'd think with Microsoft raving on about how much more advanced in graphic style things are, you'd think that the graphics would be upgraded. And they're not. They're the exact same as Borderlands look. And then they've got it episodic. Now, I'm perfectly fine with episodic games on the PC, but I don't know why they would make it that way for a console. To me, it seems like they want to use it to milk it for more money, because think about it. How expensive are games nowadays to develop on a console compared to, like, say, a PC? They're a lot more expensive. Meaning that a developer has to really hammer it in unless they do something like a shit ton of DLC or episodic series. Now, I'm perfectly fine if they're doing that stuff like during the development thing like they did with The Walking Dead, but I don't know. I don't like the direction D4 is going with episodic, unless it's episodic like Alan Wake style episodic, where each chapter is considered an episode, but it's still an entire game. They mentioned that they're going to give us a gift of games to everybody, yet restrictions of the Xbox One. Now, they showcased Project Spark, and it's a Kinect title. It has smart glass functions. First most, who the hell uses smart glass? I don't. I don't want to use smart glass. I don't see the point in smart glass. I'm perfectly fine using just a controller. So one thing, why is it a Kinect game? Because I will say this, it does look interesting, but why a Kinect? Why make it use a Kinect and the smart glass thing? I don't know. I'm just not a person that likes the Kinect or smart glass. I noticed, however, that despite saying that this Kinect is an improvement, it is still very much limited. For example, they were choosing their environment. You could choose like tundra, forest, desert and such, but guess what? You can only choose that one environment the entire way through. I will admit that I do find the fighting mechanics interesting in Project Spark. However, overall, to me, at the very least, it just feels like a Little Big Planet in 3D with a different combat system on the Xbox One. That might just be me, but that's what it feels like. They then showcase more smart glass stuff with Rise. So basically, they're putting stuff on the smart glass which could just be on their official site. I mean, do people remember Bungie.net? how whenever you played a Halo 3 game, you could go onto Bungie.net and you can see just how everyone did in that match. Does nobody do that anymore? Is it all going to be on smart glass now? I don't care. I've got a computer right next to me when I'm playing on my Xbox, okay? If I want to see how I'm doing, I'll look on my PC. I don't want to buy your stupid peripheral to see that. Put it on the official sites. They then showcased the game DVR. Now, I will admit, it is nicer. It does save it on money, and the effects are kind of cool, but it's still a far cry from doing your editing on the PC. Which means that technically it kind of taken out the middleman of getting a capture card, but it hasn't at the same time. They then showcased some weird dragon game. The sound wasn't even working on it, which was hilarious. And you know what I say? I say that's Xbox's answer to Star Fox. 'Cause it feels very Star Fox-esque. Am I the only one that feels that way? Then they showed Dead Rising 3. Okay, I'm sitting up for this one because this is okay. I've never played Dead Rising 1. I've never played Dead Rising 2. But I know what the appeal for those games were. What made me say, I wouldn't mind playing it. It was campy. It was stupid. It was silly. And you know what? It was great because of that. I looked at Dead Rising and Dead Rising 2 and just thought, here are two really good games. These are zombie games, sure, but they have a nice twist. I mean, think about it. How many zombie games can you dress up in a dress and cycle about on a tricycle to kill things? Not a whole lot. Dead Rising did that. And then Dead Rising 3. Oh god. Maybe it was because Inafune left Capcom, but Dead Rising 3 is not Dead Rising. There is no way in any plane of reality you can say that this is Dead Rising 3. It is gritty, it is dark, it is brown and bloom, it is realistic. It is everything that Dead Rising isn't. The only Dead Rising thing in there is the weapon crafting. That is it. There is nothing Dead Rising about Dead Rising 3. And if I was a Dead Rising fan, and I'm not, but I know several people who are, I would be pissed, okay? What Capcom's done to Dead Rising is what Rare did to Banjo-Kazooie when they made Nuts and Bolts. They put a franchise that people loved. They changed it in a way that people didn't want it to be, and now they're selling it. I personally think that Dead Rising 3 is going to be good in its own way, but as a Dead Rising game, it is going to be shit. It's as I said, it's going to be like Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. The original Banjo-Kazooies were great. Nuts and Bolts, as a Banjo-Kazooie game, was atrocious. As a game, it was good. At least I personally think it was. Dead Rising 1 and 2, great games, really good games. As I said, if I could, I would play them. I'd probably enjoy them. I played the Dead Rising 1 demo. I really love how the Dead Rising 1 demo works. And then Dead Rising 3 is going to come out. As a Dead Rising game, it's going to be shit. But as a game, it's probably going to be alright. I will say this though. I do not like the brown and bloom. I am sick of brown and bloom. Every single game that uses realistic graphics uses brown and bloom. Hey guys, look outside your fucking windows. There is more stuff than brown and bloom. Okay, I'm looking outside my window right now. I see a lot of blue, I see a lot of green, I see a little bit of silver there because there's my dad's, well, greyish whatever because there's a steel shed at the bottom of whatever. I see more green than brown and bloom. Oh wait, bloom. I don't see any bloom. Get your fucking act together here. They showed Witcher 3. I have absolutely no opinion whatsoever of The Witcher 3. I've heard that it's a really good series though. I've been meaning to play The Witcher 2 and The Witcher 1, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. I will say this though, stop with the smart glass. I don't care. A lot of people don't care. Who the fuck cares about your tablet? If we want a tablet, there's a better alternative, the iPad. If we want to see the stuff that you're advertising on the smart glass, we'll use our fucking PCs, okay? Because many gamers are actually playing them with them in their rooms, and even if it's in the living room, most of the time their computer's there. I know mine is. I know that with my parents in our living room, their computer's in the living room. It's not in their room. Why don't you just throw out the middleman, put it on your goddamn official site? Then they showcase Battlefield 4. First most technical difficulties. And outside of that, it does not look any different from Killzone 2's look. And it has Battlefield 3's feel and Call of Duty style attachments. So very creative, guys. Real major advancement here. Seriously. There is no graphical difference here between it and Killzone 2. I'm sorry. It has good war effects though. Like the war looks good. So if you really like a game for its water effects, this one will be right up your alley after Hydrophobia. Still rocking the brown and bloom, except now it seems to be the grey and bloom more than anything. I just had a rant about brown and bloom. I had up with it. And also, timed exclusive map pack. If you're already advertising the map pack, why the fuck are you? Oh wait, it's EA. They want more money. Then a company called Black Tusk Studios showcased a game, and it showed absolutely nothing. Then they showcased Halo 5. Now, to begin with, I thought it was going to be their version of Journey. And honestly, the trailer's just similar to Halo 3's. And 60 frames? That's really a big deal. The crowd went wild when they said, now Halo is going to be in 60 frames. I said, seriously? 30 frames has done you good for God knows how long. And now you... 60 frames is what's gonna sell you for the Xbox One? I don't get it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my 60 frames a second too, but I'm perfectly fine with 30. Hell, I'm fine with 20 frames. You know, it's just I don't care. I don't care how smooth it is. I just care about its playability. The bit they announced next, I'm gonna finish off on that, because I gotta really rant about that. They showcased Titanfall. First most, to begin with, when I saw the trailer, I thought there wasn't much difference between the mechs and the humans, is that the humans can move about easier. And it looks very Call of Duty-esque graphics. The face models look utter shit. I don't know if it's just me, but the face models look really bad. I don't think these guys know how to model faces. And that's not to say that it's easy to model faces. I already know that it's tough as all hell to model faces. After all, I tried to 3D model Lib, and the less I say about that, the better. The ability to move as a foot soldier, I like it. It's a nice, interesting little twist, although it does make me think Halo did do this first. And the ability for the Titans to guard, that's also pretty nice, and the whole thing. But overall, definitely a game I will look into, but not something that will buy it for me. Because, I mean, they said it was exclusive, but apparently, rumor is that it was leaked that it'll also be on PC, so odds are, if I was interested in that game, which I will admit it has piqued my interest a little bit, I'm interested on how it might work, because it does look like it's throwing a couple of interesting little twists. I might get it, but because they advertised that it might be on 360, Xbox One, and PC, I'll probably get it on the PC. I mean, I've noticed now that I've primarily become a PC gamer. Now, the final one. The pricing. It is $499 in the US. It is 429 quid in the UK. All I can say is Microsoft are really hating the European market. Here's what I mean. If you run 499 US dollars through a price converter into British pounds, see what you get. I'll give you 10 seconds to search yourself. Now, if you haven't searched, or you have, I will just clarify it. The Xbox One is significantly more expensive over here in the UK than in the US. Going by current exchange rates, an Xbox One would realistically cost 329 quid in the UK. It's £100 more expensive. I'm well aware that Europe and the UK get shafted on prices. We have to pay 50 quid for Xbox Live. You have to pay 50 bucks. So we're essentially paying like 15, 25 quid more than you. You're going to get cheaper for us, but when the value goes into the hundreds, that gap gets wide. And I don't think it's fair that we should have such a wide gap. I mean, think of it this way. The Steam box is going to be valued at 1,000 bucks. In the UK, that's 1,800 quid. Going by just the numbers, ignoring what currency it is, that's nearly double. What if the Xbox after the Xbox One is worth $700, $800, $1,000? It'll be more expensive for us. I just don't think it's fair that we get shafted like this. It irritates me that we get shafted like this. So, after the Xbox One conference, what did I think of it? Has it changed my mind? Am I looking forward to anything? I felt that the Xbox One conference was decent. They got their head in gear. They didn't showcase a stupid amount of Kinect titles. They got their head in gear and they did show us some good games. But they're all generic games. Outside of maybe 2, 3 of them, they're all generic. They've all been done before. They sidestepped all of the questions that people were asking about the Xbox One. And the fact that they're not doing interviews leads me to believe that they don't give a shit. That they think that just showing some high-end graphics games and claiming that it's all so great, they believe that brand loyalty will win through. What I'm hoping, and I'm not going to be able to do a rant of the Sony conference right off the bat because it's 2 a.m. my time when the conference is, so I'll have to basically get like a summary from my friends. But I'm hoping that Sony lifts the cloth up on all of these questions that people have made. The DRM. I hope they say no. Right off the bat, I hope they say no. We're not going to make DRM. As for, has it changed my stance on the Xbox One? My stance has yet to change. My issue does not lie within the games. My issue lies within the hardware and the software of the console. My issue is the console itself, not the games. They have yet to answer those questions. As a result, my stance has not changed. I believe still that the Xbox One will just be shit. Now, are there any games that interest me that I saw? Absolutely. I'm interested in Titanfall. I'm interested because it is a generic first-person shooter, but it has some interesting mechanics, and I don't think they showcased all of them. I want to see where this goes. Maybe not to the point of me buying it and playing it, but I want to see how this project evolves and grows, what new things they add in. And the final one is Rise. Now, the only reason why I'm interested in that is because it's in a Roman era. And the thing is, there's not a lot of games that are based on Roman era. The only one off the top of my head is the Total War series. Rome and Rome 2 Total War are the only ones. That said, though, I do believe that Rise will lose out to Total War because, Jesus, have you seen how good Total War 2 is going to be? Like, not graphics-wise, gameplay-wise, all these new things they're adding in. And the fact that Rome Total War 1 is considered one of the greatest RTSs of all time. I don't think Rise is going to win. But that is my thoughts and rant on the Xbox One conference. So, I will catch you guys next time.